if you win in November, can you commit to prioritizing legislation to make childcare affordable? And if so, what specific piece of legislation will you advance?
That is a great question right there of Donald Trump. Will you commit to specific legislation? What specifically will you do to bring down the cost of childcare, which is way too high, as any parent can tell you? Okay, so that's the setup. Donald Trump is gonna scrape together the 3 to 5 neurons he has left in his head, and this is the best he can do.
Well, I would do that, and we're sitting down. I was somebody, we had Senator Marco Rubio, and my daughter Ivanka was so impactful on that issue. It's a very important issue. But I think when you talk about the kind of numbers that I'm talking about, that because look, childcare is childcare. There's something, you have to have it. In this country, you have to have it. But when you talk about those numbers compared to the kind of numbers that I'm talking about by taxing foreign nations at levels that they're not used to, but they'll get used to it very quickly. And it's not going to stop them from doing business with us, but they'll have a very substantial tax when they send product into our country. Those numbers are so much bigger than any numbers that we're talking about, including childcare, that it's going to take care. We're going to have, I look forward to having no deficits within a fairly short period of time, coupled with the reductions that I told you about on waste and fraud and all of the other things that are going on in our country.
Okay, we needed to cut that off somewhere. He's still giving that answer. But I have to imagine that the woman who asked him a great question, a specific question, halfway through we showed you, she was probably thinking, could you talk about electrocuting sharks again? Because this is terrible, you're giving me nothing here. It's a serious question. People are struggling with the cost of many things. Childcare, I believe it's the vast majority of states, full-time childcare is more expensive on average than rent. It is out of reach of so many working parents, and it deserves more than whatever the hell that was. There was no commitment to prioritizing it. There was no commitment to specific legislation. There was no mention of legislation at all. The closest thing to an answer, and he didn't even give it, we have to mine through the muck of that, was I'm gonna put tariffs on stuff. I'm going to pretend that that raises money rather than costing consumers in America money. And because we'll have more money, something, I don't know. He didn't say that he would use it to spend to subsidize childcare, but I guess we're supposed to assume that's what he means.
Hey, don't scroll away. Come back. Because before the video continues, we just want to urge you to lend your support to TYT. You power our honest reporting. You do it at tyt.com/team, and we love you for it.
I'm confused, a lot of people are confused. White House Senior Deputy Press Secretary Andrew Bates said, if you have any idea what the hell that answer means, you're a better detective than I am, because these tariffs that he wants to apply across the board would amount to a $4,000 tax increase on working families, because that's how tariffs work. And so it would be significantly more difficult under this plan to be able to afford childcare, because you'd be out thousands of dollars that could otherwise be going towards it. Anyway, we're gonna get to more, and we will remind everyone of JD Vance's swing and a miss on that same question, but what do you make of that, Cenk?
Yeah, so number one, he obviously has no command of the material, like doesn't know any policy, can't begin to know policy. Number two, super obvious that he has no idea what he's gonna do about childcare. You know why? Because he's not going to do anything about childcare. Never given it 1 minute of thought. That's it. Look, he's never given all of these issues 1 minute of thought. That's why when one of his own supporters asked about housing prices, he said, well, drill baby drill. He just goes back to the same talking points. And at this point, the talking points are all based on different donors. So we're going to stimulate the economy by giving more corporate tax cuts. Give me 70 checks, right? Oh, you've got a problem with the rent is too high. Drill, baby, drill. ExxonMobil, send me checks. Oh, you got a problem with childcare. Elon Musk going to take over the whole government. Elon, send me checks. Israel, I'm going to let Miriam Mendelsohn do whatever she wants. Send me checks. This is the populist talking to a bunch of rich people in the middle of New York doing word salads with absolutely no policy. So, people criticize Kamala Harris on two things. One I think is unfair, the other one I think is fair, but this handles both of those, okay? So on policy, they say, oh, Kamala Harris doesn't have enough policy. I don't know why people keep saying that. Like, if anyone's gonna criticize her on that, it would be me. But she's introduced a lot of policies. In fact, she's taken back more policies than Donald Trump has introduced, okay? So, and she got very specific on housing, on grocery prices. She got so specific, everybody's like, oh no, all the CNBC anchors had a collective aneurysm, right? So she has these policies. Trump has almost no policies. His policies are, me like tariffs, me give everything to donors. And then you ask him, look, simple, like housing prices, what are you gonna do? I don't know, drill for oil? I mean, that's a moronic answer. There's no other way to describe that than moronic. And hey, what are you gonna do about childcare? Childcare is a massive problem. Yeah, word salad, blue cheese, walnuts, cranberries, lettuce, drill baby drill, Elon Musk, Amir Medicine. Like, and then the second one is word salads. So Kamala Harris gets criticism for some of the word salads she's done in the past. I think that is justified. I've said that many times. It's one of the things I'm worried about if the word salads come back. I'm no longer worried about it. So on policy, advantage Kamala by an order of magnitude, by thousands, okay? On word salad, now advantage Kamala. She has word salads too, but ain't nothing gonna match that. So now his word salad is 10,000 times worse. He never had any thought in his head to begin with, other than me, money, spotlight, right? So those are the three things that bounce around like a confused pong in his head, right? So now, though, he's got nothing but senile word salad, no policy at all. Look, whatever issues you have with Kamala Harris, you're really gonna vote for this bozo the clown? Come on. All right, Mondale.
Listen, the 7 components to write a speech like Donald Trump. Name 2 people, name a place, say America first, say a word from the question, say your slogan, get confused, repeat your slogan. Watch this. Jesus Christ, Genghis Khan, America first. Babies, childcare, important. Make America great again. What the hell did we just listen to? The fact that people are talking about policy in this. Now, most of the time, voters don't vote for policy anyway. People don't want to hear that because people want to believe that elections are about issues when in actuality, it's about personalities most of the time. And even worse, it's about the amount of money spent on certain personalities to force people to go participate in elections. That's just the truth and the nature of our electoral process. However, the fact that Donald Trump people want to talk about sit-down interviews and the fact that they want to brag about Donald Trump having town halls and Donald Trump doing these press conference or whatever this tea time was with rich people, it is absolutely sick that they're missing the fact that what he's saying is giving her a pass on not having to do an interview. This guy cannot finish a sentence without losing himself. But don't worry about it. Jesus Christ and Genghis Khan.
I actually liked your speech. I would get a ticket for that. We don't have a lot of time. Can we get video B5 ready to go? Because I want to make sure that I get your guys' thoughts on this. This is a response to the same sort of question from Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk asked JD Vance a good question, a serious question. He was not going to get an answer for it, and that didn't seem to bother him, but some credit for asking it. And JD Vance gives what I'm going to call the most condescending answer to a question I've ever heard in politics before. You guys feel free to tell me if you agree or disagree, but here it is.
And I think one of the things that we can do is make it easier for family models to choose, or for families to choose whatever model they want, right? So one of the ways that you might be able to relieve a little bit of pressure on people who are paying so much for daycare is make it so that maybe like grandma or grandpa wants to help out a little bit more, or maybe there's an aunt or uncle that wants to help out a little bit more. If that happens, you relieve some of the pressure on all the resources that we're spending in daycare.
So JD Vance is asked a question from Charlie Kirk, an incredibly friendly interviewer to a JD Vance. And he says, childcare is too expensive, how are you gonna bring down prices? And JD Vance, theoretically a human, responds, have you thought about asking grandma? Maybe she would help and then you wouldn't have to pay for it.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So look, guys, to me, the more interesting part of that answer is how they wrap everything in the frame of freedom. And he said, well, give parents the choice of whatever model they want for childcare. You could have grandpa and grandpa or an aunt and uncle take care of them because we're not gonna help you. That's the answer. The real answer is, what do you mean choice? What choice? If you said, hey, the government is here can help on this, Or you could go with grandma and grandpa, that would be a choice. Here you're saying, I'm gonna give you nothing, so your only choice is grandma and grandpa or an aunt and uncle. But I wrapped that in freedom, so it sounded good. No, corporations don't want you to have childcare. And so, because God forbid that their taxes should be raised by 0.01%, so you're not gonna get childcare because Mr. Venture Capitalist, JD Vance, is never ever going to help you as an average person. These are the so-called populists. So to summarize, Trump, what do you think about childcare? Tariffs. Hey, JD Vance, what do you think about childcare? Go get grandpa to help you. Wow, you guys seem like you're really looking out for us.
I think that is a wonderful analysis, like the fact that you said that the real answer is we're not going to help you. The government's not going to help you. And that is a tragic situation to be in because America spends less on early child care and we see it when kids are an adult. So this idea that we want to put young kids who are super impressionable, who should be around other kids of their age in a learning environment, we want to put them with grandma and grandpa while they're trying to find their teeth and glasses is absolutely ridiculous. And it also is why America is having the problems we're having with our adults and their love of ARs and not each other.
Yeah, and it's, both of you are 100% right. I just think like that audience is full of parents and they like him. They're looking to him to say something smart because he's the smart guy after all, right? He's the guy who really understands the working man, even though neither him nor Donald Trump have ever had to worry about the cost of childcare because by the time they had kids, they were multimillionaires many times over. They've literally never had to worry about that. And they're told, well, have you considered asking family? I have a child, my mom helps. The reason she helps is how could we possibly afford to do it any other way? I did not need a Silicon Valley millionaire to tell me to ask family to help. I was forced into that position. I'm very glad that she gets to spend time with her and that my mom is around to do that. But it's just so deeply condescending. Like, forget libs, like he doesn't care if he condescended libs. To conservatives struggling to pay for this. Every conservative has already had that thought, JD Vance. You're not breaking new ground, okay? They know they can ask family if they're lucky enough to have family that's free to do it. And so like to say that and to imply that that's some new idea, he's shedding light on a new problem. He is so not the person he was pitched to be. No charisma whatsoever, no ability to interact with the common man, no interesting new ideas. He's worse than Ron DeSantis. He was a terrible pick for VP. My idea of Ben Carson's looking pretty good right now, I think, actually.
Yeah, last word goes to one of our viewers, Jax Payne wrote in a super chat. Do they not realize that grandma and grandpa are working too?
Also true.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.